I love the audience sing-along, man. Never get sick of that song. Well, they've been up north building their fabulous cottage, and they have brought us some great tips for how you can get that industrial look, but very livable in your own space. Please welcome Colin and Justin.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hi, guys.
Hey, guys. Good morning.
So good to see you. You are doing amazing work up north. I can't wait till the final reveal. And I noticed there is a lot of this industrialized look going on in your cottage space, yet it still seems like the sort of place where I would want to hang around for like 18 hours and go through your liquor cabinet and have a lot of fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, you know what? We are putting the fun into factory. That's what it's all about today. You know, listen, you think about the industrial kind of look and the factory style, and immediately I think about Andy Warhol and his art factory, you know, and the kind of explosion in that kind of lifestyle where you would live in the city, you would live in these old buildings but do incredibly creative things. And I think that's been the backbone, you know, to this look. We're kind of blurring the lines between the city and the country. So a little bit of cottage is going into our condo, and a little bit of condo is going into our cottage.
It's a fusion. I like that. It's a lovely mix. And it is a look a lot of people are trying to establish, but it's difficult to do without it looking cold.
Yeah, well, do you know, there are certain things that you have to think about carefully, and one of them is your backdrop. Do you know, we on this occasion have used an amazing product by a company called Ink Shuffle. I've got to tell you about this, Tracy. This went up in 15 minutes. Now, the good thing, the mural went up in 15 minutes. The good thing about Ink Shuffle is the paper that they're constituted from is microporous. So when you wet it, it's almost impossible to have bubbles because all air is expelled from below and released at the top. So 15 minutes and up it goes. Now, this particular one we've chosen, it's almost like benign neglect. It's almost like you've moved into a gorgeous warehouse apartment, a big post and beam with exposed brick. Now, the colour's great. Do you know, the drama's there. We've outsized the brick. Now, we've used it, obviously, on one accent area like this. We would say it's probably best to do that in your own domestic application and not to go crazy and do every single wall. But I love that. I love the fact that, or the way that it looks like the plaster is peeled away. If I can just shut the barn door for 1 second. I love the way that there's texture in that. Do you know, it's completely flat, but it looks as if it's really textural and really touchy-feely.
This is making me so regret. In our basement, our brick looked like this when we were trying to go for exposed brick, so we said forget it and put drywall up.
Oh, did you cop
And now you're buying it to look like this. What? We made a mistake.
Funny? Yeah, exactly. That's home fashion for you.
Absolutely.
And, you know, and I think when you use a mural, sometimes there's a temptation that you put that on the wall and then it can be a little bit lonely. You know, why not use it as the backdrop for many other things? So to add an extra dimension, we've popped a barn door up there. Now, this is Canadian made by an amazing company called Rebarn, who do all of our barn doors. Like, we don't trust anyone else with our barn doors because they're just amazing. Canadian made, as I said. Imagine that in a condo, or if you're in a small space as well, and you're worried about space, you know, a door swinging in, swinging out is going to take up space. Why not put a barn door so that it actually just slides along? You know, it's a beautiful mechanism. I mean, look at that. It's just so gorgeous.
The one you have is humongous.
Yeah, the one that we've got in our cottage is literally, like, it's about 6 times as wide as that, because we were using it to anchor off a bedroom and a bathroom space and to provide a really good division. We'll show you that in Cityline in future.
I love that.
But the furniture, Tracy, that you assemble in your factory look is really important. This is by a company called Lofty Ambitions. Now, I love the base on this. It's almost like the kind of thing that you would find in some big industrial revolution factory. You can imagine all manner of people assembled round there being paid a pittance and doing piecework. Do you know?
Nice.
Basically like how life is now.
Yeah, do you know what? We're all living it, Tracy.
Welcome to my world.
But also, what I think works really well about this particular configuration is the fact that we've mixed and matched. So we've got sewing table type chairs. We've got little factory stackable chairs down here. It's all about space saving as well. So these actually stack together, so they're really good from a storage point of view. I also like this kind of slip. This is actually, it's not metal. It's a fabricated kind of plasticky surface, but it's really gorgeous. And if you look at that, it seems to have a pitted depth, but it's completely and utterly smooth. I really, really love that. The whole feel for me really typifies industry.
Yeah, it does. Although these are good on the tush too.
They are good on the tush.
Because you want it to look industrial, but you want to be comfortable.
You want to sit down and really kind of feel relaxed, don't you?
It's all about the tush,
It's all about the tush. I like the warm tinge of colour on this as well. So you've done well with mixing colours. You've got the red from the brick, and you've got these pieces of wood that are also repurposed. And I love the reds and the yellows in there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You talked about the warmth element in there as well, you know, and using warm tone timbers, using lighting as as well. You know, I think that is the cornerstone of that whole steampunked industrial look. The Edison bulb. Who knew that a filament could bring so much pleasure?
Yeah.
Filaments
These
mean
are
fun.
amazing. Hold on. Look at now, these bad boys here are actually in the HomeSense Christmas collection. These are $20.
Oh, really?
For 10 lights. Now, we actually had this this is a vase of ours that we have at home. And we have little test tubes that sit in it. But we were like, do you know what? They're only $20 and they're too amazing. Let's wire them onto this, turn it into like a table centerpiece.
That is
something
great.
against the wall, and $20 from HomeSense.
The thing is, if you go to others like a lighting store and try and buy these bulbs, they can be $10 or $8 each. So that's just a really clever way of thinking out of the box and making something that's designed for another purpose become even better in a new purpose.
That is absolutely beautiful, as is the art. I love it.
Do you know, this art, again, this is actually by Mark Livingston, who owns Rebarn. And it's a Portuguese sugar skull. Now, maybe you're thinking about getting a tattoo and you're a bit nervous. You don't want those needles anywhere near you.
Are you thinking about getting
Are you
a tattoo?
thinking maybe you want a bit of body art?
I think the Kardashians in the front row are thinking of getting one. Gorgeous.
What Mark's done is he's used some surplus materials, and this is actually just standard pine, which he's coloured, and then he's done this incredible transfer. You can find all the details for Rebarn and Mark Alexander on the Cityline website, but I just love this. It's a bit of drama and a bit unexpected. Well,